Stronger than you think. 8 Stoic practices that will change your mental health and help you take control of your life. There's a reason people keep returning to ancient wisdom when modern life feels overwhelming. Stoicism, a philosophy that's over 2,000 years old, isn't just about emotionless statues or hard-nosed detachment. It's not about ignoring your feelings or pretending to be tough. It's about learning how to respond rather than react. It's about building an inner fortress that can weather any storm. And in a world filled with noise, pressure, and uncertainty, that's exactly the kind of strength we need. This isn't philosophy for philosophers. It's for anyone who's ever felt anxious, overwhelmed, stuck in their head, or simply craving a little more peace. Stoicism offers tools, not just ideas, to help you navigate your inner world with clarity and calm. And today, we're diving into 8 powerful Stoic practices that will not only support your mental health, but transform your relationship with stress, discomfort, and even yourself. Let's start where most of our anxiety comes from: the unknown. 1. Visualize the worst so you can handle anything. Premeditatio malorum. Imagine this. You're standing on a stage about to speak. Your heart's pounding. Your mind's racing with everything that could go wrong. What if you forget your words? What if people laugh? What if you freeze? Now pause. What if you imagined all that's ahead of time, on purpose? That's exactly what the Stoics did. Premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils, was their way of mentally preparing for life's curveballs. Instead of avoiding scary thoughts, they welcomed them. Why? Because imagining the worst prepares you for it, and often it makes you realize it's not as terrifying as you thought. When you practice negative visualization, you're not catastrophizing, you're rehearsing. You're building a buffer between your fear and your response. The Stoics believed that when we picture loss, failure, or discomfort ahead of time, we reduce their emotional sting if and when they arrive. We also deepen our appreciation for the present. This doesn't mean you walk around expecting doom. It means you stop being surprised by it. And that shift alone brings a surprising sense of calm. But Stoics didn't just imagine discomfort. Sometimes they chose it on purpose. 2. Choose discomfort before it chooses you. Voluntary discomfort. Have you ever turned the shower knob to cold and stayed under it? It's brutal at first, but something shifts. You realize you can handle it. That's voluntary discomfort in action. The Stoics believe that exposing yourself to small challenges on purpose builds real strength. Fast for a day, sleep without a pillow, walk instead of drive, skip that afternoon snack. These aren't punishments, they're practice. Seneca, one of Stoicism's most famous voices, would regularly sleep on the floor, eat plain food, and wear simple clothes, not because he had to, but because he wanted to prove to himself that he could. And in doing so, he built courage. Why does this matter for mental health? Because fear, especially fear of pain, loss, or discomfort, runs the show for most people. Voluntary discomfort teaches you that you are more resilient than you think. It reduces your sensitivity to hardship and increases your ability to stay calm under pressure. When life inevitably throws something difficult your way, you'll already have a body and mind trained to stay steady. You'll be able to say, "I've been here before. I'm okay." And that sense of being grounded is priceless. But what happens when life throws something at you that you can't prepare for? something entirely outside your control. 3. Focus only on what you can control. The dichotomy of control. Here's a truth that can change your life if you let it. You can't control most things, not the weather, not your past, not other people's opinions, not traffic, illness, or whether your boss is in a bad mood. But you can control how you show up. You can control what you say, how you act, how you think. This is known as the dichotomy of control, and it's at the heart of Stoic philosophy. When you separate what's in your control from what isn't, you reclaim an incredible amount of emotional energy. Think of it like 2 buckets. One is labeled my responsibility. The other is let it go. When something happens, ask yourself, which bucket does this belong in? Your thoughts? Your bucket. Your habits? Yours. Other people's behavior? Not yours. It's liberating, really. You realize that peace comes not from having control over everything, but from not needing to. You stop wasting your energy fighting what you can't change, and instead, channel it into what you can. But knowing what to focus on is just one part of the puzzle. The next step, actually looking at how you live each day and learning from it. 4. Reflect every evening. Nightly self-review. Before you go to bed tonight, ask yourself 3 simple questions. What did I do well today? What could I have done better? What will I try to improve tomorrow? That's it. No shame, no guilt. Just honest, quiet reflection. The Stoics treated each day like a chapter in a long book. At night, they'd look back and review their pages, not to criticize themselves, but to learn, to grow, to check in with their values. The idea wasn't to chase perfection, but to keep moving closer to wisdom, day by day. In today's world, we move fast. We're always on to the next thing. But if you never pause to look inward, you end up living on autopilot. You miss the opportunity to grow from your experiences. And over time, that disconnect chips away at your mental clarity. Even 5 minutes of reflection, maybe with a journal, can help you recalibrate. You see your patterns. You notice your triggers. You begin to respond, not react. And slowly, without forcing it, you become the person you actually want to be. But reflection also helps you come to peace with something even deeper. That sometimes, the things you wish were different are exactly as they need to be. 5. Love whatever happens. Amor fati. Love of fate. Life doesn't ask for permission. It just happens. Things go wrong. Plans fall apart. People leave. And it's easy, so easy, to resist reality. To say, this shouldn't have happened. To cling to how things could have been. But the Stoics invite us to take a radically different approach. Amor fati, love of fate. It means looking at your life, all of it, and choosing to say, this too is part of the story. Not just accepting what happens, but embracing it, finding meaning in it, maybe even gratitude. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it." That's amor fati. Whatever life throws at you, you don't just survive it, you make it fuel. This doesn't mean pretending everything's great when it isn't. It means trusting that even the hard parts belong, that they shape you, refine you, teach you. And that kind of deep acceptance, it creates mental peace like nothing else. And speaking of peace, there's only one place you'll ever find it. Right here, right now. 6. Be present. Stoic mindfulness. Let's be honest, most of us live everywhere except the present. We relive conversations from last week, worry about meetings tomorrow, scroll through distractions, and then wonder why we feel so anxious. The Stoics were big on presence, not in a soft, meditative way, but in a focused, practical way. They believed that true power lies in mastering the present moment, because it's the only moment you can actually do anything about. Right now is where your decisions live. It's where your breath is. It's where change happens. And if you're constantly caught up in past regrets or future fears, you miss it entirely. Try this. The next time you feel overwhelmed, pause, look around, name 5 things you see, feel your feet on the ground, take one deep breath, remind yourself, I am here, I am safe, I am choosing how to respond. This kind of grounded presence doesn't just calm your nervous system, it strengthens your mind, and over time, it becomes a powerful habit, one that connects beautifully with the next Stoic tool, journaling. 7. Keep a Stoic journal. Write to understand, not just to remember. Journaling isn't just for writers, it's for thinkers, feelers, strugglers, anyone trying to make sense of their own mind. The Stoics used journaling as a way to reflect, track progress, and stay connected to their values. Marcus Aurelius didn't write his famous meditations for an audience. They were private notes to himself, a place to wrestle with thoughts, remind himself of wisdom, and hold himself accountable. That's the power of journaling. It gives your mind a mirror. You begin to see what's working, what's not, and who you're becoming. And when life feels chaotic, your journal becomes a kind of anchor, a place to return to, again and again. You don't need a fancy notebook, just a willingness to be honest. Write about your challenges, your choices, your emotions, your wins. Ask yourself, what am I learning about myself today? And through that process, you begin to live with more intention, which leads us to the final most important Stoic practice of all. 8. Choose virtue over emotion. Let wisdom lead. Emotions are loud. Anger demands action. Fear screams caution. Desire whispers shortcuts. But the Stoics didn't believe in ignoring emotion. They believed in choosing virtue over it. At every moment, you have a choice. Will you let emotion drive the wheel, or will you let wisdom take the lead? Virtue for the Stoics meant living with wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. It meant doing what's right, not what's easy. And when you orient your life around these principles, something incredible happens. Your mental health stabilizes. Your decisions feel aligned. Your sense of self strengthens. You stop reacting. You start responding. You stop being a slave to impulse and become someone who can be trusted, even by yourself. Stoicism isn't about perfection. It's about practice. These 8 Stoic practices won't make you invincible, but they'll make you stronger. They'll help you stay calm when others panic, clear-headed when things get messy, grounded when the world pulls you in every direction. You won't master them all at once. You're not supposed to. But if you start practicing, even just one, you'll notice a shift I did. A little more peace, a little more clarity, a little more strength. And over time, you'll realize that inner fortress you've been looking for, you've been building it all along. Everything we need to achieve our dreams is already inside of us. Learn how to start your morning through modern Stoic practice in this next video.